Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Firstly, thank you for all the support you showed on the Chelsea-West Ham match preview and the Chelsea-West Ham match review. Means a lot, guys. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing, and all that jazz. It's clear that Chelsea have got some work to do in the summer. They're going to have to recruit. They might have to sell some players. And on that topic, today we're going to be talking about 5 players that Chelsea sold too soon. So the first player I want to discuss is Juan Mata, signed for Chelsea from Valencia, immediately hit the ground running. I think he scored against Norwich on his debut. I was at that game, but my memory's not what it used to be. And I thought, wow, what a player. A little wizard, something completely different to what we had, was spraying passes left, right and centre, chipping in with goals. As part of his debut season, we won the Champions League. He, of course, took the corner that Didier Drogba headed one in from. He got the assist in that last minute of the Champions League. That was absolutely nuts. Still one of the greatest footballing memories of my life. Did go on to miss a penalty in the shootout, but that's not the point. So won Player of the Year at Chelsea 2 years in a row. Not many players can say they've done that. I think Carlo Cudicini is the last player to do that as far as I'm aware. Haven't looked that up. Probably should have looked it up before we did this video, but you know what I'm going with this. He was a great, fantastic servant for Chelsea. So when news broke that Manchester United were coming in, and we were going to agree to sell him to Man United, it was like, whoa, what? Why? You're going to sell him? Fine, I understand. He fell out of favour under Jose Mourinho. He was subbed off. He was sub a lot of the time, and when he was on, he was whipped off. I remember a game at St Mary's when he looked particularly fuming, actually, which is not like him. He didn't have that kind of character. He was always such a nice guy, seemed to be enjoying his football. But when Mourinho came in, they kind of fell out a little bit. And he hooked Mata off at this game at St Mary's, and he just slumped down in the dugout looking devalued, demotivated, and I knew at that point that, you know, it was only a matter of time before he was sold. Don't think Mourinho particularly cared, but my issue is that they sold him to Manchester United when he still had a lot of years ahead of him. He's still at Manchester United. He's been there like 6 years now, 2014. I think that transfer went through. We could have got 3 or 4 very, very good years out of a prime Juan Mata. He's gone out to be a fantastic servant to Manchester United, and yes, it was £37 million that we got for him. Decent money, but if you're going to sell him, don't sell him to one of your Premier League rivals. That's what hurt. I think if he'd have stayed at Chelsea, it would have been better for all involved, and he'd have gone on to have a really successful career. So the first person I think we sold too soon is Juan Mata. Second player I want to discuss today is this man, Romelu Lukaku, who at the time, when he come on, I was thinking, wow, this guy is an absolute beast. He's very physical, he's tall, he's got everything about him. He had pace as well, which when you're built like that and you're big, you don't tend to have the pace to go with it. He had it all. I remember all the Chelsea fans just chanting "Boost" when he come on. He come on many times as a substitute at the age of about 18, I think, 17, 18. And he said he idolised Drogba. It was ticking all the boxes. He was saying he was a Chelsea fan, he wanted to emulate Drogba and what he'd done and achieved. Turns out he's a little snake, but it was all, the signs were there that we had a promising star on our hands. He never actually scored a Premier League goal for Chelsea, ever, in that time. And then they shipped him out on loan. He went to West Brom, he went to Everton, before eventually moving to Everton on a permanent deal. Now, in that time that he's been away, Chelsea have had their fair share of, problems in the striking area. We've had Diego Costa come in, do a smashing job, and then weird stuff happened and he's gone again. We had Torres struggling. We had Drogba come back for a second spell when he was past it. So Lukaku probably would have answered a lot of our problems in the striking department, and obviously it's clear since then he's gone on to be a force for Manchester United and Everton and West Brom. Good goal scoring records at those clubs, although there is something about him that the fans just don't seem to warm to him, to take to him, whether it's a lack of loyalty. It was like, it's my dream to play for Chelsea, but now it's my dream to play for Man United. They're the biggest club in the world. It's always been my dream to play in Italy. What are you on about, mate? Anyway, he would have scored goals at Chelsea, no doubt. I think he could have been effective. Would have been interesting to see how that played out had he have stayed. But he went, and I think he went a little bit too soon. Third player I want to discuss today, one of my favourite players actually in a Chelsea shirt. He's come back to do us a favour since he left as well, and that is Arjen Robben. When he burst onto the scene, it took a bit of time because I remember we'd signed this winger. There was not a lot known about him. He was injured when he got there as well. I was thinking, wow, great. Who is this guy that we've signed that's constantly crocked? And actually, they played him, and I remember just thinking, wow, this guy is a talent. He was so direct, running with the ball. We'd had Damien Duff as well, who was brilliant, and then Robben come in, and I was like, you can't get better than Damien Duff at the time. I love Damien Duff, but Robben come in, and I remember a goal he scored at St James's Park where he just ran and ran and ran and ran. And it wasn't just a case of he's one of them players that's really, really fast, puts defenders running back to their own goal, and then had no end product. he could finish as well. He's got an absolute wand of a left foot, but I was gutted to see him leave Chelsea. Absolutely gutted. He went to Real Madrid, so I understand it. I'm a Chelsea fan. And if Real Madrid come knocking on my door, if I played for Chelsea, I'd probably go, Madrid, the Bernabeu, Spain, best club in the world. Yeah, I would. I would definitely go. Or at least you'd have to think about it. 35 million euros seemed a bit of a steal at the time. Didn't really work out for him at Madrid. Went to Bayern, and that's when Robin came to the main world stage, really, as an elite player. And I think he is an elite player. Obviously, we've got the Champions League final issue. In extra time, Bayern got a penalty. Drogba gave it away. Gave a penalty away in the semi-final as well, didn't you, Didier? But hey, we forgive you. Robin steps up against Petr Cech. Smashed it straight down the middle. Real lack of composure. I think it might have been tiredness. Fatigue crept in. Normally, he'd whip that penalty into the side netting or something silly. But he done us a favour, and of course, we all know what happened that night. So thank you, Arjen. Fourth player. And this will come as no surprise because he's been smashing Premier League goals in for fun for Liverpool. That is, of course, Mo Salah. Now, he was playing in Egypt. He got signed by Basel, Swiss club. And then I remember Chelsea playing against them. And then he played really well. And Chelsea were like, oh, we like this guy. We're going to sign him. He's got all the attributes we need. And then when he comes to Chelsea, I wasn't really excited for some reason. I think because you're thinking, all right, Basel, this is a level above. We're better than them. And he was used very, very sparingly. I think he made just 13 appearances for Chelsea during that time, scoring a couple of goals, none of any real importance. He went out on loan. I think he went to Fiorentina first, and then he went to Roma. Roma eventually signed him for like 15 mil. So, at Roma, started banging goals in for fun. Just going to check the stats on my screen here. Yeah, he went on loan first, scoring 14 and 34, and then 15 and 30. Great return. Basically, you're talking about that goal every other game ratio. And then he went to Liverpool, and I remember laughing. I think I actually put some tweets out. But I've got a lot of friends that are Liverpool fans. They messaged me saying, oh, what was he like? And I just remember replying, he was crap. He was terrible. And then, of course, he starts banging goals in. I'm like, all right, this will be, honeymoon period. He's come to the Premier League. He's adapted. He's a better player than he was at Chelsea. He's older. He's more mature. He's got more experience. He's played at a better level. And then he just didn't stop and still hasn't stopped to this day. So imagine Chelsea keeping hold of him, nurturing him, because he would have come through. We've had some great coaches in that time and had better players than Fiorentina and Roma, where he really learnt his trade. So we could have made Salah better than what he is today. Would he have gone on to win the Premier League and stuff? I'm not sure. You don't know what would have happened. It's really impossible to say. Obviously, we've won the Premier League during that time, but he has been absolutely insane since going to Liverpool. He broke the record for the most goals scored in the Premier League season, I think. Where was it? Here, going on to break the Premier League score record, 38-game season, yeah. Netting 32 times in 36 league games. That is insane. PFA Players Player of the Year. He came third in 2018 Best FIFA Men's Player Award. Finished Premier League joint tops goal scorer. Helped Liverpool win the Champions League. I mean, it's insane, really. It is insane. And obviously, they've won the Premier League this season. No thanks, in part, to Salah. I wish we still had him. There's only one player leaving that guts me more than Mo Salah, and that is Kevin De Bruyne. Why? Mourinho, again. Ego. Kevin De Bruyne was a Chelsea player. The Premier League's best midfielder at this current moment in time was a Chelsea player, and we got him for next to nothing from Genk. Do you know how many appearances he made? 3 senior appearances for Chelsea. And he played well in that time. I think he got man of the match in one of them. I remember watching a pre-season game, because obviously I had Chelsea TV, and he scored a banging volley. I think it was against Wolfsburg, who he eventually signed for after being shipped out on loan to Werder Bremen. But he proved himself to be one of the best players in the Bundesliga. Ended up coming back to the Premier League. Man City signed him, and I remember thinking, oh, okay, they've seen something that we didn't. I had no idea KDB was going to go on to be the player that we all know and love today. Absolutely instrumental in everything that Man City do. He's a magician. There's nothing he can't do. He can take free kicks, he can corners, shoot, pass, works hard. Insane. I think at the time he struggled with injuries at Chelsea, so they thought, oh, this is a young lad. Maybe his injuries are going to be A, a constant problem throughout his career, or B, they're going to hamper his progress. Well, imagine if they have hampered his progress. Imagine how good he would have been. I don't think they have. City absolutely laughing. 54 million they paid for him, and they've got more than their money's worth with Kevin De Bruyne. Still continues to be to this day. Scored a banging free kick against us the other day still continues to this day to be one of the best players in the Premier League, and I am gutted that he no longer plays for Chelsea. Let me know your thoughts on those 5 players, guys. Are there any other players that we've let go that you are gutted that we let go, or think that we sold too soon? Of course, we're not the only club to have done this. Man City let Jadon Sancho go. Arsenal let Serge Gnabry go. If you do these kind of, you look into this kind of thing, you can pick out players all day. All clubs are guilty of it. You just never know when it's going to come back to haunt you. But Mo Salah and KDB, 2 of the best players in the Premier League, were once Chelsea players. That makes me sad. But it's the end of the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll see you in the next one.